There we go. Awesome. What's up, everybody? Colin Weissong here with another episode of Your Impact Attack here at the Hameen Media Group YouTube channel and on patreon.com/Hameen Media Group and possibly on the Realm Network. Usually, I'm going to be honest with you guys here. Haven't been sending the episodes in, so the only place you have currently been able to see us here is on the live playlists at Hameen Media Group YouTube channel. Shouts out to some of the people already in the chat. Canada Spaceman, Big Ray Hernandez, Javi is excited that French Spider-Man is in the building. French Spider-Man not in the building. Ray is not here with us today. And thank you for making an appearance today. Yes, any day that we make an appearance is a great day, Canada Spaceman. But I am not alone. I am here, as always, joined by the five-time world's television champion, Vet. Vet, how's it going today?
It's great. Don't fact check that. Just know that I was a five-time world television champion. Don't try to look it up. Don't try to find out anything about me in general until the end of the show when I tell you where you can find my social medias.
Is it at Opinion Haver?
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, and we are joined each and every week by Brandon. Brandon, say what's up to everybody.
Yo, what's up? Happy Labor Day. Hope you're all having a good one. And got another week coming up. Let's get it.
Well, we had a mixed Labor Day weekend this weekend. As we can go with the heavy stuff first. We had a great AEW weekend, but that was also with a little bit of sadness and somberness mixed in. Vet, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so everybody knows by now that the former WCW TNA wrestler Daphne Shannon Spruill passed away. Well, I say passed away. I believe she committed suicide. It's very unfortunate. You know, we say it seems like whenever somebody dies, we say, "Oh, we lost them way too young." Well, this was really pretty young. You know, we say it no matter how old they are, but this is too young, and it you can't help but get the feeling from the stuff that we've heard that and some of us have seen that it was preventable. So this is just kind of like really, really unfortunate that, and I mean, I liked Daphne. I was a fan of hers. I saw pretty much most of her stuff when she was really active, but I didn't really think about it. I don't have a lot to say, because she's been, it seemingly like out of the public eye for a while. So I had no idea these kind of things were going on, but I do know that if I had to guess, I would say a lot of it stemmed from that infamous incident during some TNA show where she took a horrific bump, and that started like a string of health problems that, you know, probably set off a chain reaction that led to where we are today. So I would just like to say, before I throw it over to Brandon and any comments that he wants to make, like, for all the people, anybody who's listening who is currently in the wrestling business as a performer, if you have aspirations of getting in and doing it, when you're starting out, you have this tendency, you want to like please everybody and do whatever's asked of you, and that's a good attitude in general. But if somebody asks you to do something that you're not comfortable doing for any reason that involves your physical well-being, do turn it down. If you're not confident that you can do something, do not do it. Absolutely do not do it. It's not worth it. It's no one's going to, like, for the most part, a lot of people are not going to remember. They're not going to care. But you could suffer for the rest of your life. So if someone's asking you to do something dangerous and you don't feel comfortable for any reason, don't be afraid to just stand your ground and say you're not comfortable doing that. Can we do something else? Maybe this, maybe that. Offer some suggestions, but please do not put your health at risk for this phony business, because it could lead to a disastrous result. Brandon?
Yeah, that actually kind of reminded me of your last thing. That reminded me of something that Jerry Lynn said at a seminar one time when he said that the biggest marks in wrestling are the boys because we're the ones putting our bodies on the line to do this. But sometimes, we can take it too far and let that cloud our judgment and lead to bad decision making. But we got to remember to respect our boundaries. And if our gut tells us not to do something, don't do it. Listen to it, because pretty much all the time it's right. And you're absolutely right. It was a sad, preventable, tragic thing that didn't have to happen, shouldn't have happened. And we should take this as an opportunity to learn to check on people, make sure that let them know that they're loved, that they matter, and that they are wanted, and that their presence is valued, and we appreciate you being here.
I too have to echo a lot of what you just said there, Brandon. Definitely have to reach out to people and double check on their mental health and their wellness, especially in these times with COVID and everything that's going on.
Sometimes there's just that one phone call can make a difference.
Yeah, you never know. Somebody being able to talk out their emotions, you might actually be able to talk them off that proverbial ledge, so to speak. And just throwing a little promotional thing. April, host of the A Show, they were pretty close with Daphne. It's kind of crazy how this network is kind of connected with her and everything. But April has pulled together some people, and they're going to kind of do a memorial, like a celebratory episode. They're going to speak truths and everything that was going on in Daphne's life, and talk about mental health, because I think it is like suicide awareness or mental health awareness week this week or next week or something like that. We're going to have like a mental health expert on. Velvet and Angelina Love are going to join the show, and Lexi Fife are going to join the show. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see kind of these women come together over one of their own, as you've kind of, I guess, seen the men do in the past when one of their own kind of bites the dust, like when Eddie passed away, or even before we kind of knew about what happened with Chris, the way everybody kind of jumped in on the Chris thing, the Chris Benoit stuff, before all the stuff came out about him. But anything else that you guys want to add before we move on?
No, just to reiterate, what I said. This is you have to look out for number one, and that's no news. If you're involved in professional wrestling, there's a lot of egos, and they all look out for number one. But safety first. I mean, nothing we do is safe. It's all the simplest things can go wrong, and you can get hurt doing next to nothing. So, don't worry about what other people are going to think of you. And on the other side of the coin, if you're some fucking guy on the indies that wants to do some, crazy shit off of the top of the building through 10 tables or whatever, think about who you're asking to do that. Don't just selfishly say, hey, I want to get this shit in, you know what I mean, for a barn full of 10 people. Don't put other people in the position to have to tell you no with some stupid shit. Okay, learn how to get over without falling off things.
So what the vet is trying to say here is that for $125 payday at the bingo hall, don't jump through the fiery 20-foot hoop off the ground onto the guy laying on the table. It's not worth it.
It's basically what I'm trying to say.
It's not worth it. I think everybody's seen the YouTube video of the guy jumping off the wall at the bingo hall and completely missing the table.
Which one?
Yeah, right. Oh, man. That still doesn't beat my favorite YouTube video of the giant lady catching a chair and throwing a picnic table at a bar brawl type event in Charlotte. Like it's amazing. I'll have to send it to you, Vet, so you can watch it. You look You're looking enticed.
Why don't
Son-
you post that?
Oh, I
for
could.
everyone to see?
I'll bring that up right now. I can share that. We also kind of wanted to talk about AEW, but we'll go ahead and give some shout outs here. Sonic the Hedrat in the chat. I know Canada Spaceman's there. I don't know if Big Ray's in there or not. I'm assuming he's not because usually the vet is the third man in the in the chat, monitoring everything on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Well, if he does show up, just go ahead and get the band ready. Warm up that band finger, because you might have to use it 8 times.
Yes, very much so. Okay, we're about to do this. All right. I found it. Share audio. Chrome tab. You gotta love it when you can just Google Lady Throws Table and it pops up. And she catches the table right here.
Nice. All right. Well, there it was.
There you go. How amazing was that?
That was something.
I like it.
Right?
Somebody
Sonic.
needs to sign her.
Where's Tony Khan when you need him? Where is TK with the empty check to sign table throwing chair? I can't. It's so amazing. I can't even get the words out of my face. This is Tony Khan has to just. I'm imagining Fry right now with a handful of money, just saying, "Shut up and take my money." Tony Khan with all the marks lining up to watch this lady throw tables and catch chairs.
Well, excellent segue into All Out.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
That's what you do. Okay, somebody's gonna get their ass kicked in this review. Well, Colin, you watched All Out.
Boy, did
told
I!
me so.
I am.
Oh, geez, they signed Colin.
They signed me. They signed Big Ray. We are all elite here
This is
at the Impact Attack. Not only, I think I'm going to get a shot at the championship title here. I've sold out yet again. I think this is the second time TK has actually bought time slot and airtime here on the Impact Attack. Sorry, Vet, you don't get to see any of that the money that he sends my way.
Well, now that we're in this situation, I just have to say that I loved All Out, and I can't wait to talk about this great episode of Impact as well. I love everything.
What about you, Brendan? Just remember, Tony Khan is listening. He's the fourth man that just popped into. He knew the segment was coming on, so he's the fourth man in the chat this evening. So make sure you sing praises to the Ayatollah bin Hameen and the Ayatollah Tony Khan. Be careful.
Greatest wrestling show of this century. Vince McMahon, you better watch out. They're gonna top you. They're gonna take your spot on Fox, man.
Then you shouldn't have said it.
You're gonna take your spot on Fox there, Vince McMahon. You shouldn't have cut Daniel Bryan. You shouldn't have let Adam Cole go. What were you thinking about letting that Paul White, that man that he just made that Paul White's match? That was like the best match of the night, right? You guys agreeing with me on that? Paul White,
the
Paul White match, the best match of the night. Give me some ones in the chat if you think the Paul White match was the best match of the evening. Paul White, QT Marshall, Barn Burner, Dave Meltzer 6-star classic.
I'll tell you, it wasn't the worst show on the card. I'll definitely say that.
Oh no, the Casino Battle Royale was just the shits. Yes, there we go. Javi enjoyed it. Then we got some ones in the chat. Keep those ones coming, guys. Anything else on? Was there anything else that happened besides Paul White squashing QT Marshall?
No, nothing. I think that was what everybody really came to see, right?
The main event was the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, right? Because that was like the peak of the show. No, are you good? Are you do I need to? Can we get some FBI like knocking down doors in the chat for Opinion Haver over there looking all sketch off screen?
Sorry, I just saw somebody roll up outside for some reason.
The Alphabet Boys.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, well, I mean, all kidding aside, what did you really have to say about it? You watched the whole thing, didn't you?
No, I watched like from the Young Bucks all the way. Actually, no. Hang on. When was Moxley and Suzuki?
It was like the second match.
Okay, so yeah, I might have watched most of it then. So I caught Moxley and Suzuki. That was interesting. I think you would have had a lot of fun. Kojima was the man. He did all
What
the
do you mean?
Kojima.
Wait. Hold on. Stop. You said you think I would have had a lot of fun?
Yeah, you would have had a lot of fun watching Kojima and Moxley.
What makes you think I didn't?
Oh, you didn't? You didn't have fun?
I, you're suggesting that I didn't watch it.
Did you not watch it?
I watched it.
Okay, did you enjoy it?
Uh,
That's
well, since Tony Khan's listening, yes, but in reality, it is the best.
Look, I can't have you dancing around whether or not you enjoyed it. Fact or fiction time, Ben. I'm putting your feet to the fire. Fact or fiction? Did you enjoy it?
Fact, because I'm comparing it to every other pay-per-view that I've ever had to watch from them, and it's better than those.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it.
But it's still a little. It was still a little long, and it did have that Young Bucks match on it. So I would have cut a couple of the matches on there, and I would have made those. There's a lot of stuff that you could have done with some of the matches that they had on the card to promote the card. Like for like a Rampage main event, why couldn't that have been Paul White versus QT Marshall?
Wasn't it Sunday night main event that would lead into the pay-per-views during like all those Attitude eras where like they would usually have stuff like leading up into the pay-per-view to try to like reel you in that last like oh my god, what's gonna happen, and then they'd start the pay-per-view and usually not even talk about what finished up on the end of main event.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, they did a good job with that. I think you're talking about Sunday Night Heat from MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did. They gave you a little show, and I think one of the things that kind of sucks about AEW is they have a lot of talent, obviously, and then when you see these opportunities for big things, like CM Punk makes his return on Rampage, the first, that Rampage that he's on, and then what do they do with the rest of the episode? It's like, these are like dark AEW dark matches. So
They're
they could have
ice cream bars.
They didn't even do that. They could have showed footage of selling ice cream bars on Rampage, and that would have been better than having to watch Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. You know what I mean? Like they just not using the talent. If I was them, I would parade every person that looks like anybody or was somebody that I had out there in front of people. Because if people are tuning, no, they didn't. If people are tuning in to watch like one guy, like CM Punk just came back, so now I'm going to tune in and watch. I'm going to put everybody that on that show. I'm going to put all the ex-WWE guys. I'm going to put everybody that looks like he could kill somebody, like, Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs, and like everybody that looks like somebody on there. I'm not going to put fucking Daniel Garcia on there, which would have looked like, he just checked you out at the Dollar General or something on your way home. That's not what I would have done.
That's where I know him from.
Yeah, you knew him.
I knew him.
So yeah, I would, that's what I would have done. I would have kept a couple of those matches off the show to keep it nice and short. But they calmed themselves down, and they had a better card than they normally have, and they delivered on some surprises there for people. So I think that's what people are going to really remember. They're going to remember the end and some of the surprises in the middle. Did you get, if you saw the Kojima match, it's like, that's a guy that's 50 something years old, and he has to somehow wrangle John Moxley, the spaz, and get something out of that. And then you get Suzuki afterwards, which, a lot, I'm seeing a lot of ignorant shit on Twitter about people not knowing who this guy is, which is kind of understandable. But then I hear some ignorant shit from our own Colin Wysong talking about Pancrase, and disparaging the great promotion of Pancrase.
Come on, bro. Most of those stats are like fictitious, and a lot of those fights were rigged, right? There's a lot of rumors and a lot of clouds that it was really just a wrestling promotion.
So, what's your point? There was nothing.
Fights were real.
There was nothing else, Colin. They didn't have what we know as real fights back then.
Yes,
Like, what were you comparing Pancrase to in 1993, bro?
The Kumite, Bloodsport. You saw that documentary.
Oh yeah, Frank Dukes with all those real world records that he set, like including consecutive wins and fastest knockouts.
I mean, even Pride was somewhat rigged with how they did their fights, but
dude,
up until
rigged.
Of course,
UFC's rigged.
The UFC is totally rigged.
What was the first UFC?
Not one ran by Dana White. It was ran by basically the Gracies.
Right. It's an infomercial for their particular style of martial arts.
Yes, but they did it perfectly, because instead of having Rickson Gracie, who was like the poster boy of the martial arts, they took the scrawniest one and threw him in there with all those dudes, and he kicked all their asses. So that was a better poster for their product than having Rickson go out and kick all their asses.
I mean, you're assuming he kicked all their asses.
That's not how
That's not how I remember it, and I don't know if some of those guys weren't fighting for food. So I'm pretty sure you could convince them not to kill this guy. That's my point. When you're talking about, yeah, these guys obviously set Pancrase up, right, to be.
Vet, please come fight me with one boxing glove on your hand, please.
You got it, and we'll see what happens.
Please.
We'll see what happens, bro. But you're gonna have to pay me if you want to win. Let's put it that way.
I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just keep in mind that there was nothing to compare it to. You can't look back 20, 30 years ago at Pancrase and be like, oh, Pancrase. Those are all stone cold killers that just worked matches. I'm sure they would have fucked anybody up. But anyway, Suzuki was one of those, and he definitely could fuck some people up, and he fucked up John Moxley a little bit, which was nice. Unfortunately, it's in a working way, so I didn't enjoy it as much. But he still showed up, and the people in Chicago definitely knew who he was because they sang his theme song, so that was nice. And Kojima had a pretty good match for a 50-some-year-old guy too. So these two 50-some-year-old guys were good. And my point of bringing that up is you had a 50-some-year-old guy later on in a marquee match with MJF that doesn't look like he can go to the same level as these other two guys. You know what I mean? But he's the most over and famous one out of all of them. So it's starting to get a little bit sad. So there's that.
Well, let's lead into that. Now, Brandon, did you catch any of that match?
I did not, unfortunately, but I heard it was pretty good.
Well, yeah, so it was up until I feel like the finish for me. It was like a Smaz finish where like a whole nother ref came down and was like, no, his foot was on the rope. So like Aubrey changed the ruling, even though everything they've ever taught you in wrestling is that the ref's ruling is final. And how is another ref who's not even in the match coming down and telling someone, Brandon, you have, I guess, experienced reffing matches and stuff like that. I mean, from your perspective as a ref in a match, like how was she supposed to handle that? Like, how could you have booked that a little bit better from the ref standpoint instead of having kind of the weirdness going on there? I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. Why is it so weird?
I mean, you could go with the ref's decision as final. Then from there, you can do a thing where Tony Khan looks at it and go, well, because even though the ref's decision is final and there's some wonky, whatever, he finds some weird out and go, okay, we'll do a rematch and do it with some kind of stipulations that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, because I feel like it just took restarting the match right then and there. I felt like kind of took the sales out of everything. Now, Vet, did you feel the same way about that since you actually did get a chance to see the match? Did the kind of Smaz finish kind of take you out of the Jericho match, or were you already out of it because you're watching a 50-year-old man?
Well, I'm not. It's not that I'm watching the 50-year-old man. I'm watching the 24-year-old kid. That's what I'm trying to watch. He's just incidental, but yes, absolutely, you're right. Like, when does this ever? This only happens when they want to do a finish like this. If every ref is in the back watching every match, then why don't they come out every time anybody does anything wrong? It completely doesn't make sense.
9 days from tonight.
So if you went with the finish and let everybody go home thinking that Jericho was retired, then that would have been a good finish. And then if you want to come back later, like, Javi's kind of joking, but you could do something like that where Tony Khan makes the case that, like, I can't let Jericho's career end because the referee didn't see his foot on the ropes. So, like, you can have him bring it back that way. But in the moment, everybody's got to think it's done and over with. You know what I mean? I think that way MJF gets some heat. And then he gets more heat when he complains about them coming out and now and like, hey, I know, man, I beat this bum. It's over. We're done, And then he can, like, he can, like, refuse, or they can go into any number of things after that. But if you're going to do this, then you have to do it every single time. You have to do it every single time somebody uses a weapon in a match, every time somebody puts the tights in a match, every time some other referee's got to come down and be like, nope, you missed it. And then it's going to be the question of, well, why aren't there just 2 or 3 referees in every single match then? Since, and that's where you leave yourself open with these overbooked finishes.
Then what happens when, like, Excalibur's getting up in the middle of the match? Like, no, I saw him hit someone with a hammer. No, that's not fair. Ref, stop the fight. Like, it's over. Like, yeah, it's AEW. Don't do it. Why do you continue to do these things to us? And why does she continue to try to be a figment of the matches every time? Let's see, what else did we have? The Spot Fest, known as the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Spot Fest, yes,
Yeah.
or match.
It's not as bad as their like ladder match or whatever the hell that thing was they did. That basically killed everything for me. But this was pretty close. I mean, they were just doing stuff and kicking out of it.
Did you enjoy the thumbtack sneakers?
No.
No thumbtack sneakers. Well, the Lucha Brothers are your new champions. And let's see, anything else that you wanted to talk about on this show? Maybe we should just go to the debuts.
Well, there was the long-awaited CM Punk return.
There was CM Punk versus Sting's son. CM Punk over.
Yep.
Darby Allin selling the shit out of everything CM Punk did for him. Like, that dude was definitely throwing his body into everything. I mean, he normally does, but there was a little extra stiffness in there because I think he was in the ring with CM Punk.
No, that's pretty much what he does every single time. Take
Really?
it from a guy that's seen all his matches. He does the same thing every time.
Like, he threw himself just through the corner of the ropes and then out of the ring. Like, the height of the fall. I've
never seen that before.
Yeah, the height of the fall of him just throwing himself through the corner turnbuckle, out the ring, onto the apron, and then, like, down onto the floor. Like, come on, dude. Like, think about your longevity is longevity. Get more paychecks out of Tony Khan than less paychecks out of Tony Khan.
Did you see that there was a quote that he used? I can't remember who it was from, but, like, before the match, like, for his intro package, for Darby Allin's intro package, he used a quote from somebody that said, so I'll paraphrase basically what it said, but it's like, most people tiptoe through life to safely reach death. I mean, I've said it since day one. You're not going to tell Darby Allin the thing that I just told everybody about Daphne's situation earlier. That's not the person to tell that to. He is comfortable doing everything. He will do it. He may not ask you to do it, but he's going to do it to himself instead. And there's just no talking to him. It's not like something he's got to learn. He's decided. So he's an exception to that. But he didn't do anything that was particularly unsafe for Punk. And Punk wouldn't have allowed it anyways. But he still didn't. But yes, when you see a guy like Darby Allin, yes, he's small, and he's a little weirdo. And if you have one guy like that,
Sting's son.
And he's Sting's son, but if you have one guy like that, that's okay. To have a guy that looks like that and is that small and that unique, but you look at, dude, that stuff hurt in there. Like when he's doing those, like, the running,
running
just throwing his body.
The steel barricade. Like, he's throwing himself head first into that steel barricade sometimes.
I'm just talking about the stuff that was, like, specifically contact between the two human bodies in the ring. Like when Punk is in the corner and he does the charging, like they call it coffin splash, right? Dude, he's hitting that guy with his whole body, and it smacks, and there's velocity on it, and that looks good, but it's still safe. Because Punk can protect himself from that, but it still sounds good. It looks good. You know what I mean? And it's generally safe, but it looks vicious. So, like those kind of things, like you got a guy like that lays his shit in. It makes it more believable because a guy that size would have to do that to hurt somebody that's even an average size like CM Punk. So that's what's good about Darby Allin, but you just can't have like a whole roster full of Darby Allin sized guys because not only does nobody want to see that, but it takes away from Darby Allin, and it also takes away from the other guys because they're not laying their shit in like he is.
So take Darby Allin's offense. Would you have liked to have seen Tommaso Ciampa use a similar offense against Walter?
I mean, I would have. I would have rather not seen him at all. That'd be good.
Yeah,
but that is what Dragunov has to do.
Yeah.
Because he's similar. He's small. He's bigger, muscular wise than Darby Allin, but not that much height wise. So he's still like a small, muscular guy, and he's got to throw his whole body at Walter, and that's kind of what he did.
Yes. Yeah. Whoop whoop. Fuck this shit. Darby Allin, who was inspired by Superhuman, jumping on Legos and light tubes. Let's see. That's like an on point impression there, Brandon. I love that. I gotta clip that out.
By the way, Colin, on that note, I finally watched the Peanut Butter Falcon. So
yes. Did you enjoy it?
It was all right.
Did you see my friend Skrilla?
Probably.
He got beat in the wrestling match there towards the end. It was the wrestling match before the main event wrestling match that they were all kind of watching.
I assume that was who you were talking about. One of those guys.
Yeah, one of the black guy. Let's see. What else do we have here? So CM Punk wrestling match, $16 ice cream bars, $85 ice cream wrappers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Marco Stunt kind of looks like Daniel Bryan now, and Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole. Kenny Omega retains. Yeah. So I say this about Daniel Bryan and Marco Stunt because at the end of the show they had Jurassic Express, which was Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and then Daniel Bryan and Christian. And then it was like a couple weeks ago they had that same setup, but Marco Stunt was in Daniel Bryan's spot. So it was like Marco Stunt grew up.
Daniel Bryan actually looked like little Brock Lesnar.
yes, he did, very much so. Let's see. Adam Cole, great fit back in AEW now that he's back with his elite buddies, or do you see him coming in, meshing kind of with the elite, and then breaking off and actually kind of turning against the elite?
I don't know. Brandon, what do you think?
I can see them possibly him keeping them and then bringing in Britt as like the female for the group.
Could be.
I like it.
I think Cole, like, he kind of, if you notice, he always sort of latches onto some group in some way or some shape or fashion. And then he usually either turns on them or gets kicked out or whatever. It's just, it's a pattern. It's kind of, but they did one of the things that this is what I really don't like, where you have this big surprise debut, but he's already got merch and music. So you're trying to make me believe that like most of the people in the ring at that point were executive vice presidents. So you mean to tell me that like nobody knows what goes on in their own company, and you just snuck Adam Cole in here and made him a song and a video and a shirt and all this stuff, and you didn't know? Then when he joins them though, then that's like, okay, that's acceptable because it's like now they're pretending that they didn't know. Right?
Tony Khan's watching. How dare you doubt him?
I just doubt him for a second. And
then you shouldn't have said it.
But that's where that makes sense though. If he had not joined them, then that whole debut thing wouldn't make any sense. And that's one of the things I don't like. But then Daniel Bryan did come out, and that was like, okay, you were ready for that too now. So now I was back to not liking it.
With a remixed version of his WWE song.
Right. Yeah, Ride of the Valkyries or whatever it is. That's just an existing song. That's why anybody can use it in any version of it. So that's one good thing about it. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that he showed up, but it's too obvious. Like, like I just don't like the lights go out, hit somebody's music, surprise, but it's clearly prepared. That kind of a thing. And so what? They were just hanging around backstage all day and nobody saw you. That kind of thing. Like I wish those kind of things, like appearances of new people, would be promoted that way to be more realistic. But this is just it's phony pro wrestling. What do I care?
Oh, Brian, what are you doing backstage in full gear? Oh, okay.
His full gear. His full gear is a t-shirt.
Why you got
and
full
jeans.
gear? Yeah. I do you feel like they're gonna thrust Brian right into the title picture? Because it seemed like that's what they teased. And what about Adam Page? This guy is like pure. Their biggest homegrown like talent, babyface, Adam Page, and it feels like he's getting kind of thrust back to the back of the line with all these WWE talents coming in.
Fuck him. Who cares? He went and had a kid. No one asked him to do that. If he wants to go home and raise the kid, then Daniel Bryan gets a title shot. I don't have any sympathy for Adam Page. Like what do I care? You know, he knew what he was getting involved with when he signed with these guys. They're all his friends. Yeah. So they you know, I don't think he's surprised about that, and I don't think he's a mark enough to think that it really matters if he's the champion or not.
So how long till Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn are all elite? It's basically PWG now. Like Excalibur and Joey Ryan couldn't afford those guys at PWG, so they passed PWG along to Tony Khan, and now Tony Khan's running PWG.
Yeah, in essence, I mean that's basically what we're seeing. As long as they don't do invisible man wrestling and invisible hand grenades and
thumbs up butts.
Yeah, shit like that. Oh, they're doing that. They're always doing that. You just can't see it.
With the was the explosion, was that a thumb up your butt segment?
Oh yeah.
How about Eddie Kingston's machine gun chops?
Yeah, how disrespectful, right? Yeah, Kojima coming out right after you. I bet in his mind he thought it was a tribute. But you only tribute somebody that's not there to do it for themselves. And it's not going to come out and do it 15 minutes later.
Yeah, I guess it would be
not on the same card.
Yeah.
Or if you're like in a triple threat, like if you guys had me in the corner and your thing, Vet, was to hit me with machine gun chops, and like you and Brandon like looked at each other and you were like, yeah, let's do this, and y'all just hit me with like double machine gun chops in the corner. Like I get it, that's what you do, but don't just steal a dude's move one match before he freaking comes out. Like no.
Yeah, that's like Steve Austin's right? on the match after yours, and you're like, hey, Steve, don't worry. I'm going to get that Thez press in for you, buddy.
I'm going to cuss somebody out and flip him the bird.
Yeah.
Stop a mud hole in someone.
You're going to stop a mud hole in him. Yes. All
so.
Right. Anything else on... oh, wait. The biggest surprise of the night. I apologize. The biggest surprise of the night. Ruby Soho coming out as the Joker and winning the Battle Royale, which stirred a lot of trouble with Big Ray's comments. But we won't get to that. We're just here to talk about Ruby Soho, Ruby Riott. Your thoughts? No thoughts. Okay, and
my only thought is maybe don't, if you get to choose your own name, don't put Ho in it. That's the only thing I would think of.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I just want to know how much money Tony Khan is spending on music rights.
Yeah, that's yeah. Do you pair up Ruby Soho with Jim Duggan?
I think that's a can't miss. It's a can't miss, and that could be Ben Hameen's in.
Ben Hameen fights Ruby Soho and Jim Duggan. I love it. You can't be too stiff with Jim Duggan, according to Ben Hameen. Though he got a talking to while in the ring with Duggan over being too stiff.
I believe it.
Oh my God, that tickles me that the vets are out there like that. Like if you were in the ring with RVD, he's like, "Hey, bro, don't be so stiff, man."
Yeah, him of all people. Yeah, I don't think RVD would be like that, but I could see Duggan.
Bro, I'm just gonna hit you with the frog splash, man. Like maybe a chair leg drop, bro, and he just.
You just sound like tired Matt Riddle, not really RVD.
4 minutes and 20 seconds is the match length.
All right. So
I'm from Earth.
I think we're ready to wrap up all out.
Yeah, let's go. We are all out on All In and All Elite Wrestling here at the Impact Attack. 39 minutes in, 40 minutes in, whatever.
That's nothing. You know, Ray and I go an hour.
Yeah, that is true.
Hour and change before we even think about NXT.
Guess what we do have to listen to though? Pre-roll.
Welcome to Hami Media Group, or as the cool kids say, HMG. We're here to provide you with the very best entertainment alternative media has to offer. Thank you to all our supporters who have made us what we are today. Follow us on social media, video, and podcast platforms at Hami Media Group. Become a subscriber to Hami Media Group at patreon.com for great free daily content as well as off-the-top rope extras. Subscribe to our affiliate Patreon channels with a plethora of fun content on various tiers that will bring tears of joy to your eyes. Vince Russo's The Brand, the Rip Rogers FR Podcast, Stevie Ray TV, Goldilocks, The A Show with Aaron Stevens and April Hunter, The Two-Man Power Trip, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, the beautiful people. And now, the Larry Hankin Stories. Support your favorite HMG and independent pro wrestling talent at ProWrestlingTees.com. Enjoy the ultimate meal with Zordo's Ultra Premium Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Head over to ZordosOliveOil.com. Start your day with the best cup of Joe, bro. Try a fantastic selection of flavorful coffee blends at thebrosters.com. StevieRichardsFitness.com. Get off that couch and make a healthy change without leaving your home. Amazing resistance band and yoga workout programs at an affordable price that will help you become a band new you. Hear from the pros who live the biz, bro, with talent that have worked for every major organization led by the man who put the attitude back in pro wrestling and in your ear holes. It's gotta be russosbrand.com, bro. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at HMG. And now it's time to be entertained.
What did you just say to me?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we are back. Ray, shut up. We don't want to hear about you anymore. All right, guys, that is the commercials, and we are here to the Impact Attack portion of the show, where we're here to talk about Moose and only Moose. Vet, I mean, how much Moose do you want to talk about today? No mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I'd like to talk about all the Moose, but I unfortunately we only have a little bit of Moose to really talk about here.
Why?
But I will say that as a little preview for our recap, that last week I think that the title of our show, Impact Attack, was very apt because it was in relation to what I was doing. I was definitely attacking Impact. I came down really hard on them, and I don't think it went unnoticed because there was a couple of big things on this show that would let me know that, yes, people are listening. I'm going to take the credit for it. Doesn't matter if it was coincidence or not. It was actually me. And I'll kind of point those things out as we went along. But it definitely seems like they're trying to get back in my good graces with a couple of things here.
Ay, cabrón. Oh.
It did definitely feel like a better show this week.
Yeah. So, well, anything was going to be better than last week. That's for damn sure.
Well, you know what's great? Not starting the show off with Decay.
No,
Right.
No. Let's start it off with Influence and what do we want to call this? Wild Jellering. A wild Jellering has appeared.
Yeah. Oh man! So we've got Tenille Dashwood, Madison Rain, Caleb Conley versus Tenille, Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, and Taylor Wilde. Man, this was something. This is why do they start this out? Why?
I don't know. I want to get Brandon's thoughts on intergender wrestling in general, and this match in particular. I don't think we've really talked about it, and I think that you know, since we had taken over the Impact Attack and been reviewing it, they hadn't been doing it as much, and so we kind of forgot that, oh yeah, this is that promotion that does this. Like it's no big deal, like it's not a special attraction. So, here it is, kind of back in our faces. And it's not like it's the only time it's happened, but like especially here, you notice like, okay, this is a big deal. So like in the sense that you really got. I mean, the one guy was in for the majority of the match, and he took the finish also. So it's like it's extra noticeable here. But yeah, I want to get Brandon's thoughts on the concept of it, and then what he saw on this episode.
It really depends on the individual wrestlers involved and how it's done. Like China, obviously her wrestling men is believable because of how big she is. Like I remember when she wrestled Ivory for the women's title, I remember watching it going, even as I'd only been watching for a year at that point, I'm watching it going, this needs to be quick, that it's not going to be believable if Ivory is competitive against her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, not so much, because Caleb should be easily manhandling, when he's in there, not being the one being made an ass out of, even though that's his gimmick and his character, that shouldn't be happening.
Right. He looks too physically big also. Just it's not like if this was a Drake Maverick was still here, if a Rockstar Spud is still here in this spot, that's one thing, because every woman in there is bigger than him. Caleb is like mildly low-key jacked and, bigger than most of these, so it just doesn't look good. But
and they haven't I guess they haven't emasculated him enough either to make it seem like they've tried since we've been watching to kind of really like emasculate him, and that could be what it is. It's just like how he kind of portrays himself as like Tenille's lackey, so he's kind of seen as less masculine because he is kind of like this personal assistant to Tenille, and how he dresses and how he's kind of viewed and seen and everything, and his character and how he acts.
I get it, but we've already seen him. Like he was with Cameron Grimes or Trevor Lee before. They were like a thing, and I don't think he was letting women beat him up then. So how do you regress?
Maybe he just
in terms
had
of like physical ability like that.
Maybe he just got tired and is okay just being a personal assistant. He gave up on life. Now he's letting women beat him in the ring.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I didn't like it, but
I say this acting like he actually had this choice of whether or not.
Right.
Like
he's got creative control.
Life.
Caleb Conley. Caleb with a K has creative control.
He walked in and was like, "Hey, Tommy, I know what would be perfect for Impact. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to take a German suplex from Taylor Wilde. They're going to beat me, and I'm just going to take an ass kicking the whole match from all of these women." All right. Thank you, Tommy. Here's a donut.
Beautiful. You bought Tommy Dreamer with food just to get German suplex by a woman.
Tommy didn't even hear the whole stick until he said donut. Yeah, whatever you want, Caleb. Whatever.
Yeah, so. But
man.
I can't dignify this any further. So, if we'd like to move on, if Brandon doesn't have any further comments, then
I'm still laughing at the fact that they're a faction now, and the graphic in their video still says "all about me."
The influence. It's Tenille Dashwood's influence.
Now it's all three of them saying that it's each all about them.
What is next on your handy dandy notebook of notes?
We did a little Empower recap.
Yes.
We just make sure that
we had to know.
We get that in. But then after that we get a promo with the artists. I don't have a better name for Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt. I don't know if anybody can think of something that they'd rather call them. I'm open to it, but I'm just going with the artists for now, so I don't have to say their long ass names. But here they're with Gia in the Impact little interview backdrop, with one important difference, guys. Do you know what the difference is?
No.
No music underneath. They took away "We Own the Night" from Gia's interviews.
Unlike this segment.
Yes, well, I'll take a virtuoso theme song every now and then, but this is like one thing that I'm thinking, like, why did they all of a sudden decide, is this just a mistake? Did they just forget to do their music? And so that definitely caught my attention, but I wanted to wait and see until later on, like if they do it again. So it's not just like a one-time thing or a mistake. But they didn't really say anything of consequence, just the usual stuff. And then later on, Dreamer's standing around. He gets interrupted by Christian, and they just have like a little expository chat. And then after that is where we get Decay versus, Fala and no. They're calling him no way now. They're like saying two no's. I don't know what the deal is with that.
No way. No way.
I guess that's it. It's just for the rhythm of the singing, right? So, yeah. So this is the storylines that we're continuing on. Falaba trying to make things up to Decay, and he So they come out with the conga line and everything, and then all of a sudden, the burger in the conga line monkey flips Rosemary. The burger was Tasha the whole time, guys.
Oh man, who would have known?
Man, not me.
You didn't know?
Yeah, didn't end up mattering though because DK won the match. But I don't know. What did you guys? What'd you think? What'd you guys think? Were you surprised? Obviously, you were shocked that the burger was Tasha, but
I had no clue. I as many times as I'd seen Adam Rose and the conga line, I had no clue that Tasha was. Oh my! I was so blown away. I was
it's
just
always
like
the burger.
I was way more surprised by that than I was by Daniel Bryan come walking out at AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Canada Spaceman enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it's always the burger though. Even if you go back to the Adam Rose, like if somebody was going to do something like that, it was the burger.
Put those ones in the chat if you were surprised by Tasha Steelz being the horse hamburger in the conga line of the no way conga line.
And then for Brandon, how surprised were you that the burger was Tasha? How did it affect your night and your overall viewing of the show? And then, of course, how are these teams and setups as you're learning, the sort of Impact landscape? How do you find these teams here now, and how are they in your standing?
Or you could just put one in the chat, whichever one you want to do.
I want to hear from him.
Oh man, like her. Oh, I couldn't get it out of my head the entire night. I mean, that screwed with me. I mean, like I couldn't believe that was her, man. Shocking.
Yeah, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, but still, like, she did her part, right? Yeah. So what do you think of Decay though? Like as a gimmick and stuff, because I know you're into the more theatrical shit. So like Decay, I would think would be kind of like a little bit more up your alley than some of these just more generic wrestling focused teams.
I dig them. I think there's more that could be done with them. I think they're probably might be kind of letting them simmer until potentially they're having Braun and Bray come in. That could be some potential, interesting crossover down the line, like with them and Su Yung and Kimberly.
What if? Getting to the Su Yung stuff. Whenever we get there, I might have a little bit of booking for the Su Yung stuff.
Okay. Play it cool, Hot Shot.
Sorry, I can't. All right, what else is on the
agenda next?
On the old agenda.
They did a little Final Resolution 07 from when Christian beat Sting for the championship. So they're getting over all these times that Christian won a championship.
At least they're making it feel important.
Yes, got to make it feel important. It's Christian.
Yeah. And then we go to Morrissey with Gia, and no music underneath. So it was not a mistake. So this is one of those things that, Colin, as you know, as a producer,
Oh wait, I'm a producer.
allegedly,
Oh, okay.
allegedly, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
whoa,
it, but that's what
don't
other
be
people
telling
have
people
said.
that.
That's
Yeah, don't
that's-
tell nobody that.
I believe you said it earlier in this very show. But anyways, let's say as someone who knows the production side of certain things, let's put it that way. This is a case where, like, even though these shows are taped, this is something that can be fixed afterwards. So let's say they were totally planning to put
You know
music.
they don't do that.
Well, let's say they were planning to put music underneath this Impact promo here with Gia, and then I cut such a vicious promo myself last week on them, and they were ashamed, so they were like, we don't want to make the vet any more mad. Let's take the music out. Take the music out, and we'll go from there. So they can do that. It wouldn't matter if the show was taped, that day or weeks ago. They could still make these changes. So it is feasible. And speaking of Moose, yes, Moose comes in. He wants an alliance with Morrissey. He says that he believes a lot of the stuff that Morrissey's been saying about there's no friends in this business, and he doesn't want a friends. He wants an alliance. So
Deadly alliance.
the Deadly Alliance. So are we gonna get a Moose and a Morrissey alliance? We'll just have to tune in and see. But I mean, like, if that's an alliance, I mean, who could ever stop them?
No, nobody.
Right. And so yeah.
Not even Bray and Braun.
Dude, if they come to Impact, that's like that is like volunteering at your local shelter, bro. Like, are you serious? How could you go from what you've done to that? I don't
What are you trying to say about the Major Bros?
What do you want me to say about them? That's exactly where they belong.
Oh man, it's you know who also belongs in Impact? Steve Macklin.
Who?
Steve Macklin.
Sorry, I'm not familiar.
FBI.
FBI.
Burt Macklin?
Burt
You mean
Macklin.
Burt Macklin.
Burt Macklin, FBI, ladies and gentlemen. He is not very happy with Petey Williams, and there will be mayhem. Mayhem.
Did you notice here where music happened when he got intense?
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it like faded up. Like the music just came up like when he started getting really mad.
The guy in the truck's like, I guess I'll use music here. Whatever. Let me fade that up.
That's fine. Well, it's a pre-tape, so I'll allow it in this case.
Come on, you and I and Brandon will learn. They don't ever go back and edit out the stuff that they should possibly edit out. They'll leave the botches in and then try to have D'Lo explain it.
Yeah.
We all
That's
know
a
how
rib.
that works.
That's a rib, by the way.
That's
Like someone purposely wants D'Lo to try to like make sense out of everything on the show because that's funny to them. So probably Don Callis.
So we're going back to the ring. We get more Moose. See, more Moose is always a nice thing. As he's calling out Eddie Edwards. He's like, you ate the last Danish backstage. And Eddie's like, no, it was Tommy, I swear. And he's like, you have Danish crumbs on your lips. I can see them. And that's when Edwards brought out Kenny, the kendo stick. And then Morrissey came out and shoved Edwards and said, no, that's my Danish that you ate. And then Morrissey crushed Edwards with a powerbomb and ate the Danish. Thoughts on that segment?
Always good to see
That's
more
good
moves.
Danish.
That was good, Danish. Was that actually way more exciting than the actual segment? I came up with that booking on the fly.
It's good. It's good.
I call that my Tommy Dreamer booking. You just insert pastries.
I actually do like it. But I just feel bad that, it's come to this. You had two guys like Moose and Morrissey who should on their own be killing everybody. And then, it takes them like forming an alliance to get any kind of a heat on just one slovenly guy with a stick.
A
Don't know
kendo
the word
stick,
for
not just a regular stick.
I think a regular stick would be more devastating and painful. So
yeah, tree branch definitely hurt a lot more than that would.
yeah. So yeah. So even though there was moose here, I tried to enjoy it as much as I could. He still looked good, like he comes out looking like a superstar, and then
Yeah, $1 million. That suit combination he's got going on there. Yeah,
and then
million bucks.
And then you just know like it's not going anywhere good. So it's hard to it's definitely hard to fully enjoy it. Which that's a microcosm of what the entire WWE universe feels every single week. They see a bunch of stuff they want to like, and they know it's going nowhere. So
it is true. Well, guess who's not going nowhere? No Way and Ba declining that they don't know anything about Tasha Steele's plots. TJP interrupts as the scorn lover, very jealous that Fallah Bahh has a new tag team partner, but he's like, it's cool. Let's go to Swingers Palace. Yes. Swingers Palace. And
but that's next week.
Yeah, that's next week. It takes them a week to get to Swingers Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Eric Young.
I think the reason that it takes a week to get to Swingers Palace is because for this set of tapings, that room was the All About Me set,
Yes.
and so they couldn't have two sets. So they've got to wait until they film all their All About Me's and then get it ready for Swingers Palace.
It's your fault the kayfabe's not alive anymore. It's not the neckbeard's fault. It's your fault, Vet.
And it's certainly not Impact's fault.
5-time world champion ruiner of kayfabe, the Vet.
No, I'm 1-time undefeated and still reigning champion. What do you want? What do you want me to defend this company that's sitting here with this thing here where these guys are giving this broom a hand job backstage?
No, but you know what I want? I want you. Oh no, go ahead, Brandon.
All I could think of with that broom handle is like, you remember like when you were kids and you're you're at the baseball field and you're trying to figure out who's going to pick teams first or who gets to pick first.
Yeah, that was it. They just did that here.
Well, oh man, Rhino being locked in the darkness. How do you feel about that? Is that just cause?
What is this? So does Violent by Design own their own like entire prison?
Yes, it looks like it.
Well, what the hell was going on here? Just have a whole prison with one inmate, Rhino. Why? Because he got beat in a match like everybody else in this fucking faction gets beat every single time.
I would play the Beatles' "Help" right now under this segment, but we're on YouTube because Rhino needs some help. Where's Heath Slater when Rhino needs him?
It'd probably be hard to even find a Beatles' "Help" on YouTube to play. They're very good about scrubbing that off. But yeah, so I guess he's getting rehab of some kind. But again, this is that sort of entertainment stuff, theatrical stuff. I don't know, Brandon. I'm going to you with this. What do you think? Does this work?
I mean, it's got a good cultish vibe to it. It makes sense for the characters, like because with what they're going with the gimmick is it would make sense for failure to be punished with this type of kind of mental torture.
They could have just took away the cheese whiz and crackers too, but
that too, yeah.
Maybe they already did that, and this is on top of that. So I don't know.
WWE's catering just got shortened as well. Let's see. X Division champion Josh Alexander retaining against Jay Christ. Who would have seen that coming? After issuing an opening challenge afterwards, he's proclaiming himself to be the best X Division champion ever. But nay, the Moose Slayer himself, Chris Sabin, comes out and says, "I am eight-time defending X Division champion," and he challenges him to defend the belt at Victory Road, and that's what we'll get at Victory Road. Josh Alexander will probably retain there as well because the Moose Slayer's not. If let's do some MMA math here. Hear me out. Josh Alexander defeats Chris Sabin. That means Josh Alexander can defeat Moose, right?
Easily.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm not. Nothing wrong here.
Glorified squash. What,
They probably would do that. Don't say that.
What do you? I mean,
Scott Demore will come out next week and be like, Josh Alexander, you are going to win by a squash match because I cannot stand Moose. I don't like what Moose is doing to this company. I'm going to go back into my room here and with my headphones off.
We are going to offer him a contract and keep him around, but I hate him. I mean, this Jake Chris coming back doesn't do anything for me. And it also doesn't do anything for me where Saban's trying to impress everyone by saying how he lost the belt 8 times. So nothing about this interested me. I kind of feel bad for Josh Alexander because it's almost like they're just throwing, they're just dumping like barrels of lemons on him and saying make lemonade out of this.
You think you think if Impact, if the WWE's roster was the Stark Market, right? Do you think that Impact was like betting on like guys like Adam Cole to leave, or do you think they were like, oh yes, we can snap up all these 205 Live guys, they're gonna cut them all, and the WWE hasn't cut a single one of those guys? They're like, man, we can snatch up all these X Division guys and bring them in here, like.
No, they cut a bunch of them. They cut the entire 205 Live division out, basically. It's just that no one cares and there aren't names, so you didn't remember.
Where's Tony Nese? I need Tony Nese. I need those abs back on my television screen.
He's coming. If they keep doing open challenges, one of these times Tony Nese is going to show up. Kurt Stallion. Don't forget about Kurt
Stallion. Yes. He's
Definitely
already changed his name. I think he's already changed his name to something else.
Yep.
Austin Gray.
Fuck out of here. All right, so yeah. I don't know.
Austin Gray derails the show for
fucking great.
Vet's over here looking at me like, Jesus.
What did you just say to me?
I will say there was a spot I really liked in this match where it was the 3 Germans, and then how he had to hit the second one, and they built and struggled, and then when he finally hit the third one, it finally meant something. I just really liked that.
Yeah. He's a good guy at doing Germans. Well, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like he got a match out of a guy that is not good. So, that's kind of what it just seems like they're testing Josh Alexander. Like, can you do can you take these bums and do something with them?
Can you carry this division on your back?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the division's not bad, but they're taking the worst of it and giving it to them all. Not all the time, but it kind of seems that way when we talked about it last week where it's like, are we going to have an open challenge and is it going to be somebody like a surprise? And it's like, yeah, you would only do an open challenge if it's going to be a surprise. Well, if this is a surprise, do I feel like I need to tune in and see another surprise? And I'm sorry. Jake Chris that's not going to do it. Not even for Impact. So
didn't he get named in the Speaking Out movement?
I don't know if it was him because there's 2 brothers. I don't know which one was, but it seems weird that they would bring him back if he was the one. So maybe it was the other one. As sense. Colin is researching right now. But yeah, either way, whether he is or not, still don't want to see him really. Don't really know what else we can do with him. And I don't know if Sami Callihan's open to getting the band back together either. Because he seems to be doing just fine for himself, like spot wise here. So
yeah, it was Dave, not Jake.
Yeah, it was Dave. Yeah, I just found it.
Yeah, it's gotta suck when your brother's part of a scandal. You can't just totally distance yourself from him because he's related to you. But oh well. You want to move on to Soda Thompson now?
Let's move on to Soda Thompson. Yes, my second favorite segment of the evening. As we get Brian Myers open call for new proteges, but no worthy candidates came along, except for Manny Lemons and Zicky Dice. Baby, we're in business.
Yeah, they're doing Tough Enough. This is Tough Enough. They're doing a 2-man Tough Enough. This is what they're doing. Did you guys try out for Tough Enough back in the day? Did you send in your videotapes?
Winner,
Colin, I know you sent in a videotape.
winner
for
gets
Tough Enough.
Soda Thompson.
Wrestling redneck didn't apply for Tough Enough.
My videos were much like the Louisiana alligator wrestler that was on the most recent season of Tough.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy.
I already forgot his name, but it has a Z in it.
Yeah, I think it is like Z or something like
Yeah. Yeah, so this is like you got Manny Lemons, some guy with Don Quixote Doflamingo's glasses, and Zicky Dice, like you said, like who we're not supposed to know who this is. I mean, I understand that some people wouldn't know who he is, but they're acting like he's not like on NWA programming and stuff, or hasn't been.
Yeah, his name was ZZ.
ZZ. Yeah. Good guy. Did you Brandon, did you like the glasses? Did you like the Doflamingo glasses?
Oh, love the glasses.
Yeah. I see it's like I'm looking in your back in your shelf there, and I see what looks to be manga volumes. Am I correct?
Close.
It's like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z DVDs.
Oh, they're DVDs? Okay.
Yeah, like they're really like when they came out, probably what was like 14, 13 years ago.
Oh.
We're big Berserk enthusiasts.
Well, I am, and Colin's a poser, but you know,
Well, I've read like 5 of the mangas.
poser. That's what we call a poser.
Watch the
Ray, watch
series.
these movies. I didn't watch them, but you watch them.
No, I wanted him to watch the series.
No, you
The series
told
is
him,
better
that's
than
not
the
what you-
movies.
That's not what you told him. We're not going to do this again.
We're not gonna have this discussion.
Then you shouldn't have said it.
All right. Your thoughts on Berserk, Brandon?
To be fair, I've never really checked it out.
Don't ever watch it. The vet will hate you and me. Okay. Back to things that are not as fun as Berserk. The Good Brothers.
Well, wait. That's definitely not as fun as Berserk. But I mean, what did Brandon get to talk about this Tough Enough segment? I want to hear his thoughts on it.
I mean, my main thought is like, where is this going? What's the point of this?
Well, the point is that we're going to get a new protege.
Where is
That's the
Impact
point.
Wrestling going in general?
Yeah, he's trying to, like, Brian Myers is doing his part to bring in new talent for Impact Wrestling, and nobody's
and steal
helping him
NWA
out.
talent.
They're like, Jake Christ, I guess. Yeah, that. Then Brian Myers out here really trying. You know, he's trying to get Zicky Dice in here. He's trying to get one of the 7 warlords.
Manny Lemons, bro.
Manny Lemons. So, yeah,
Can we talk about the Good Brothers yet?
it's not time for them. It's time for Rohit and Shira versus Matt and
Good Brothers.
get ready, Chelsea Green.
Yes.
I know somebody here loves Chelsea Green.
More intergender wrestling.
Yeah, but this one goes a little bit different. I'll let Brandon take it from here. If he
It
wants,
just
whatever
got-
he wants to talk about.
Yeah, the first thing I have on here is why are there 2 intergender matches on the same tag matches on the same show? That's the first thing. And then it just got really awkward when he when Shara ran in, got in Chelsea's face, and then it led to a weird cutoff finish. But it made sense, kind of like with what happened with Rohit and Green getting into it. At least it paid that off. It came full circle.
Yeah, and since they taped this, who knows how long ago, they can't talk about Chelsea winning the Empower Invitational Battle Royal thing that she won. They can't mention that because they didn't know it happened yet, or if they did, they didn't know how or whatever, or they can't talk about her challenging Camille for the belt the next night.
Or let's slip a little package or something in there to kind of just build that up before they come out, before the entrance or during the entrance.
Yeah. And we already saw them put an Empower package on earlier, but they just didn't have that part. So yeah, that's one of the pitfalls of having taped like several tape shows in the can, is that it's harder to keep up with current events if anything changes, especially with this interpromotional thing. Because that was a big deal for Chelsea to be in, like, you know, essentially a couple of main event level matches for this pay-per-view that had some buzz going for it. But yeah, but this match itself, like this mess, yeah, I was gonna mention that this ended the only way it could, which is just a man giving a woman a jumping knee to the face and pinning her straight up. Like that's that's what it looks like. Not Chelsea Green giving, you know, Mahabali Shira a Canadian destroyer or a German suplex or something.
That's how it should have ended.
Boom! She took the knee right to the face. I'm sure that's not the only thing she's taken to the face. She sold it like a champ. I'm not sure it's not the only thing she sold like a champ. And then she laid down and got pinned. I'm sure that's not the only time she's laid down and got pinned. Don't worry. Don't worry, Brand. I'm a fan of Chelsea too, but you know I got to get my shit in.
Well, you know, they got to be careful with her. She is very fragile, especially with
she's still got a cast on.
Yeah, she's still like, and she just broke that when she first came back. Like when she made her debut in that match, she fucked her wrist up again. She's always messing stuff up. So they got to be real careful with her and Rohit throwing knees like that. I
thought she broke her wrist helping Matt Cardona take one of his chase figures out of the package.
Oh, was that like a shoot? I thought she actually hurt it in the match coming back, her first match back. I thought she hurt herself.
It went right over his head, guys. It just went right over his head. I guess that's just the power of my deadpan delivery.
Oh, you're talking about opening his toys. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, okay. I get it.
All right,
I was no selling your joke, okay?
You sold it all right. You just sold it wrong.
I did.
Unlike Chelsea Green, who sold this knee to the face just perfectly. I enjoyed that. Any other thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I love how she just took it and just dropped.
Yeah, it's just crumpled over. You felt bad. That's what it should do. You should feel bad, like
he just hit this woman. What a son of a bitch.
Right. Yeah. And even though everything in our society is telling us that shouldn't matter, and so she's in there, she's just as equal as any of these other guys. But I mean, when you see it in front of you, it's very obvious that you don't really feel like that. Even when you know it's a work, you're still like, hey, you know. So that's exactly what it could have done, and that's where we get missed opportunities, I think, with some of the other companies. When I was talking about NXT, I was saying how one of the Legados del Fantasma people should have hit BFAB and got some heat, you know. And then when she got the get back on him and fought back later and like in their match, then it would have been like retribution. But instead, they didn't do any of that, and it's just kind of lame. Here, they're not afraid to do it, but it's more like just in the general course of a match, like, flying knee, that's it. So, even when they get something right, it's still not as good as it could be.
That is true. It's just the curse of Impact. Do we have? Is this the Mortal
Kiss gets a new member after this
Mortal Kombat segment of the show?
Yeah.
I miss our WMAC segments, MAC Master segments. They were so wholesome, and now we get Mortal Kombat, like people getting soul stealing, you know, like, and here we find out that not only can your soul be stolen, but you can be converted, as Brandy Loren is not dead, but she's undead. Here as now we have 3 undead brides having been converted with Su Yung. Yeah, what?
Let's get them some undead husbands.
Come on, is there an undead Ben Hameen out there collecting wives now? With all these undead brides, or are these the collection of undead brides that Ben Hameen sends out on suicide bombing missions?
Can I just say that as I was watching this it was just a brief little snippet of a set. It wasn't, I don't even know if it was 30 seconds long. And I don't know if I could take much more than that anyways. But as the Su Young and Kimber were in the screen, and then the third person shows up, like the converted person. Can I just be honest and say that I was struggling to remember who that was? Like I forgot that it was Brandy. Like I forgot what I was like. Who is that they did this to last week? I did not remember. But now that you say it, now I finally know it was Brandy Lauren.
Well, it's like they debuted her. Well, re-debuted her because they had mentioned that she had wrestled under another name. So it's like maybe if you had just kept her under that other name, then viewers of Impact, because usually it's just the hardcores that are probably still watching Impact that would know her by that name, would be like, oh, it's so and so. She got converted, but no, they were like, hey, that's Brandy Lauren, formerly known as so and so, and now everybody's like, oh, who's this chick? Because they don't put two and two together.
Right.
Yeah.
And she didn't even use that. She didn't even use that, or like she wasn't hardly on NXT at all. Maybe like one or two job matches. So the trying to get the name recognition rub off of WWE, that's not even a good enough reason not to do it. But Chelsea Green didn't come back as Laurel Van Ness either, so I guess they're just going with whatever. We can finally get to a Good Brothers promo if you want. For this part, I just typed out 6 Z's, 6 of the letter Z, like right.
Because it was so awesome.
Is there an insect flying around in your little studio there, Colin?
Yeah, sorry. The Good Brothers. Is that what you had? Like you wrote Good Brothers.
I wrote Good Brothers in-ring promos.
It's like in Monty Python when they're in the cave and it's like it's like
he wouldn't bother to carve out Og as he was dying.
the pen on your paper just kind of slowly fades off as you're falling asleep. You have a little ink on your face from where you fell asleep on your notepad last night. Good Brothers yucked it up after power bombing Willie Mack through a table. Rich Swann ran out with a chair to clean house. Referees and security separated the skirmish. Oh boy, I'm excited. They knew I didn't get to use this last week, so we get to use it this week, ladies and gentlemen.
More guards!
And they come out and they help stop as we get a bunkhouse brawl with Carl Anderson next week. Swann versus Carl Anderson in a bunkhouse brawl. Do you think they were going to need more
Guards! More guards!
for next week's brawl?
I don't know. This is a good example of selective security here. Like they come out for this, maybe not for other things. So I don't know what the criteria is for when you send. Go ahead, hit the button.
Guards! More guards!
Yeah, to any of these incidences, but I mean, I got nothing to say. I was asleep during this, as my notes had indicated.
Get your shit together!
All right, Brandon, any thoughts on the Good Brothers?
I mean, just one of the more organic, natural-sounding acts that are there instead of just the usual, straightforward wrestling 101 typical promo.
Yep. How many chin locks
In this promo, I was in a metaphorical chin lock.
You were in a rest hold. Yes, you were. You were. Usually when I need to take a break, I'll say I'm resting my eyes. The vet was in a rest hold. I need a second. Hang on 1 second.
I know they seem okay now, Brandon. Just give them a few weeks. You'll be fluffing up your pillow just like the rest of us.
All right. Ace Austin. Wow. Breaking news. Ace Austin defeated Tommy Dreamer. If Dreamer won, then he would have been in the world title match at Victory Road. Unfortunately, Dreamer had the momentum on a cutter, but Madman Fulton dragged Ace's foot under the ropes to break the pin. Dreamer took matters in his own hands. The DDT Madman on the floor, and as Dreamer re-entered the ring, Ace Austin struck with the fold to win the match.
Nice fold.
Nice fold. Pay that man his money.
You got to know when to hold him and when to fold him, guys. I will say that Ace does the Tennessee jabs better than Tommy Dreamer does. That's for sure. But yeah, this could be another example with Ace going over of them trying to make it up to me for last week. Because
it's only for you.
I
Scott D'Amore was
said,
like, Vet's not happy with us. We need to fix things. We need to make things better. Tommy, what can we do here to make things better for the vet?
And he rightly knew that if he won this match, he would have to have another match. So he didn't want to do that because that would cut into his catering time. So he decided to just do the right thing and get the kid over and get some heat. But this, Brandon, this is exactly what we talked about last week. Like, you got to get somebody some fucking heat. Give somebody some momentum. Give somebody something. If you're not going to give it to Moose and you're going to put Ace Austin in this position, give it to him. Let him win the match, because when people make stipulations that only benefit them, it's very obvious like what's going to happen. Like there was no penalty for Tommy Dreamer not winning this match. Like he had to give up donuts or whatever the case may be. Like it was just, I win, I get to be in the title match. I don't, I go back to doing whatever I was doing. So you right off the bat, you just assume he's going to win, right?
Yeah, one thing I dug about this match was like they're in the spot where they're trading punches, and Dreamer was throwing his. Ace Austin he'd have his fist reared back like he was about to throw. That way, it doesn't look like he was standing there just taking shots. Like he just timers freed him to punch. That's all.
Yes, it's very good. I think that one of the things that's a huge problem across the board for a lot of younger guys and older guys and anybody that's just not been trained, or even if you have been trained, maybe you just don't think about this kind of stuff. But the whole thing is to not just go into a move like because it's the next move. You would have to believe that there's some reason why you're doing whatever you're doing. So like when you, anytime, for a very, very small example, if we have the the classic tackle drop down spot, right? Take a tackle, boom, guy hits the ropes. Why does he hit the ropes? He hits the ropes because he's going to bounce off the ropes and do something to you, theoretically. Why do you roll over and try to, and do the drop down? You do it because you're trying to trip him running. If you don't look like you're trying to trip him, if you just roll over and then he runs halfway across the ring and jumps over you, you both look like a bunch of clowns. So that's something that's just so accepted and forgiven in daily wrestling that when people do it badly, we don't really notice as much anymore. But when people do it well, it tends to stand out. And it's the same thing like what you're saying about with the punches. Like, he should be trying to throw a punch and get intercepted rather than just stand there and take a punch, right? So it's just little things like that. You have to be aware of what you are trying to do as in this match as a character. You need to be aware of what is the point of everything that you're doing. You're not doing it just for the sake of doing it. You're not doing it just because it's the next thing to do. You can't look like you're trying to remember what's coming next. Even if you are, try to disguise the fact that you're just trying to remember your next spot. For some reason, I see a lot more women struggling with this. They all look like they're trying to remember the next thing. I know that it's not, it should have nothing to do with what the sex of somebody is. Just coincidentally, I think a lot more women are rushed into positions that they're not ready for because people want to build up their women's divisions because women's divisions has a lot more respect right now. So of course you want more women to fill out the division, but some of them just aren't, they haven't put the time in, right? So, but that has nothing to do with it. It's just a coincidence. But like, there's a lot of guys that don't follow through with a lot of the stuff they're doing. Another example would be, one of the spots I hate is the low bridge spot where somebody runs at somebody and the guy like falls down and pulls the rope and the guy falls outside the ring, right? Well, none of the guys ever look like they're trying to do anything. It looks like they just run to the rope and jump out. So like you should be at least like throwing a clothesline or something as you're going over, so it looks like you tried to hit this guy and you missed and tumbled out. And
that clothesline is your brace to post off of and take your bump.
Right. So just little things like that. Like when you see a guy like Ace Austin doing those little detailed things, it's like, okay, you kind of would have to look at, I always, if I can, or if I think about, or if I remember to go back, I always think of like, who trained these guys? Like, cause why do they know it when a lot of older veterans don't even do it? You know what I mean? So sometimes I look at those guys. But yeah. So
well, we know why you do it, because you were Rip Rogers trained.
Yeah, I was. But then again, Rip Rogers didn't tell me every single thing that I'm saying here. Like he didn't. He taught me a lot of things, and I espouse the wisdom that he's taught me pretty much on every show that I do. but a lot of it comes from me. A lot of it just comes from common sense and observation as well. Things that I knew long before I ever trained to be a wrestler, and I would ask as a fan, why do they do that? They should be doing this, So, but yeah. Candace Spaceman says we must always rush women into positions when not ready.
Yes, very much so. Let's see. Anything else on tonight's show?
I think there's definitely something they can keep going with Christian Cage and Tommy Dreamer. 'Cause they had that spot in the back where Dreamer told them not to get involved, and then they had the thing where Fulton interfered, costing the match. So that leaves something open down the line.
Yeah, they always do that thing where they say, don't get involved no matter what. And it's always something after the fact where it's like, no, he could probably get involved. The match is over now. I'm sure you don't just want to take a beating, I think they're generally referring to like, don't help me out during the match.
I need help now. Tommy, somebody come out and help me, please. Somebody help me, Christian. Anybody?
No, you said. So. Yeah.
The million.
That was not the right button. I should have been the you shouldn't have said it drop. I apologize. I love that. Let's pay tribute to The Rock.
The million.
So
What prompted us to get that one?
I just like it to say I like to if I need to say that we have the
million
and millions watching at home. It's for me to play with, sir.
Well, I don't know how far back we'd have to go to get Impact. To get Impact to have an aggregate million viewers. Like, I don't think they've had 1 million viewers this year total. So.
Oh well.
But
okay.
With shows like this, it's not hard to see why. Although it's still better than last week, and they did address the music underneath the promos. So I would like to see if they continue that going forward, because I think it does make a difference in terms of not sounding like jabroni-ish.
Don't want to sound jabroni-ish. Brandon, do you have anything else to cap off the show here before we get on up out of y'all?
Definitely an improvement over last week. I liked, they took this. There's no spot fest on this show, surprisingly.
No, they saved that for the weekend for All Out, All In, all around.
They said the Young Bucks are having one match, so let's not do a spots for this entire show.
No spots this taping, because we'll be airing this the week of All Out, guys. No, we can't have that. All right. Well, Brandon, let everybody know where they can find you.
Sure. Find me at Miss Tia the Transarchist at all the socials and Twitch, as well as Instagram and YouTube. That's really all I got going on at the moment. Probably gonna be scaling back some stuff at work. Gonna be spending more time working on that and just starting getting some more stuff put out there.
Awesome. Now, Vet, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with you, because you were just recently on Rad Rob's YouTube channel to discuss comedy movies, and the only movies that you should have been talking about were Basketball and Orgasmo. Please tell me those were the only two movies y'all talked about during the whole episode.
I don't think we talked about either one of them.
I will remove you from this stream now.
Wait a second.
Your time on this show is over. You know what?
Wait a second.
Guards! More guards!
Where are the guards? Where do you need them?
In my defense, I did not want to talk about them. That's it. No, that's not really my defense. My defense is, and I said on the episode, which you clearly didn't watch, but that's okay. You're a busy man. You don't have to watch all my shit. But I said on the episode multiple times.
Still on that backlog of OVW stuff I gotta watch of yours. It's just so much.
Yeah. I said multiple times, man, I was going to forget something. Like, that's the problem with saying something like, we're going to talk about comedies.
How dare you forget that those are the cornerstones of all comedy movies. We wouldn't have comedy movies if it wasn't for Orgasmo and Basketball. I mean, geez.
Not even true, but even though I will add those to the annex that's coming up, because there's so many other stuff that I forgot. And I wanted to I wanted to, like, whatever the next show is I do with Rad Rob, no matter what it's about, I'm going to start it off with just capping off the movies that I forgot to talk about. And he can do
Colin's
the same.
gonna hate me if I don't say this. Orgasmo and Basketball, great movies. Yes, Justin Spaceballs is also a great movie, but nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
I think we did talk
beats-
about that. I think we
Nothing
did
beats
mention
Orgasmo.
we did mention it, and there was like a bunch more that we would have forgot if some of the great people in the live chat weren't right there with some just throwing it out there and reminding us of certain things and whatever. But a lot of it was dictated by the flow of the conversation. Like I had a pile of DVDs here or Blu-rays on next to me, and then like I would use those as visual aids for the people that were getting to watch on video, just to prove that, unlike you, I'm not a poser and I actually do back up the things that I'm a fan of and support it. And then
I do.
and then I also had
anymore for me to support him anymore.
Yeah, so anyway, while he was alive. But anyways, so, and I also had another list of movies that I had scribbled down. And then I was, it is like the conversation went like all over the place. It's very entertaining conversation. If you like movies and you like comedies, I think you should check it out, because not only will it give you a little nostalgic feeling, but it might, put you on to some movies that you maybe not have heard of or whatever. Maybe some more obscure stuff. But we didn't really get, even though somebody in the chat mentioned South Park, the movie, we didn't really talk about Trey and Matt too much. And so I've got to make sure to add those and bring those up next time too. Yeah. So sorry, kid. Brandon, do you have any favorite obscure comedies or stuff that people might not know about or not as popular?
Man, what's trying to think. I mean, I love Trailer Park Boys, but that's a go-to. What's a good go-to? That's trying to think. I had something that was on the tip of my tongue and I lost it.
Well, Colin's still just disgusted, and this little boogeyman, he's coming to get me now because I didn't say basketball. And also I'll point out that in your tweet you didn't even
Do you want French Boogeyman to come get you?
You didn't even you didn't even spell basketball. You just put basketball, so no one knows what the hell you're talking about.
Fucking autocorrect. I blame Jack. I blame Jack and his autocorrect and the iPhone's autocorrect.
All right, but anyways, so
obviously Hunger Force the movie is also funny.
Okay, so you can definitely find me on that episode of RTW Rewind with Rad Rob. That's available in the archives, so check that out. You can find me on Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday morning with Big Ray. And then you can find me here whenever we get a chance to do it. And every once in a while, I might even be on the Smack Attack. But they had it covered this week, so they didn't need me. And I'm sure their views are down, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll need me soon for something else. When you look at the Hami Media Group page, like their uploads and stuff for the last week, it's like my face is just like on every thumbnail, and it's starting to get embarrassing. I'm not asking for this. I'm just trying to help out.
Another one.
And, yes, that's right. I'm the DJ Colin of podcasts, and I've never took an L in my life either. So, and then of course you can find me at Opinion Haver, as the screen tells you right there.
All right, guys. You can find me on Twitter at Colin Weissing. You can find me on Facebook at Colin Weissing. You can find me each and every week with the Vet and Brandon here on Your Impact Attack. And like I said, this week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/The A Show. We're going to be doing a memorial episode, as of which we forgot to mention that this episode of Impact that we just reviewed was also dedicated to Shannon Spruill, a.k.a. Daphne. And we will have our show dedicated to Daphne as well. As I said before, the beautiful people will be coming on the show to join April. We will have we'll have the lovely Velvet, the lovely Angelina Love, the lovely Lexi Fife, and Jamie, a mental health expert, all to come on the show to kind of discuss these things. It'll kind of be a panel episode. April kind of leading the things. We might have people coming and going, dropping knowledge, and just try to be celebratory of Daphne's life as someone who has gone through some things and mental health and it's real. Make sure you definitely check in on your loved ones and reach out to people. And as Brandon said at the top of the show, you never know if that phone call that you did could change someone's life. Just reaching out to them that one day, not knowing where their head's at. And cheer up, Jamie. Canada Spaceman will be gone soon. There's part of your depression will be gone. I don't know why he thinks. Like, first off, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, Vet. Look,
Okay.
I don't know who this Jamie Williams guy is that Big Ray keeps trying to use as your name. It's just the Vet. Like, why does he call you Jamie? It's the Vet. Your first name is on your birth certificate, and your last name is Vet.
Well, Ray's so sensitive, I don't want to correct him, so I just let him do what he wants. Otherwise, he's going to cry.
Yeah, I was watching
He'll
that.
be
He's like,
he'll be like the crying CM Punk guy. I want to do that. Yeah, that's what he looks like. That's what it looks like whenever I do anything that, like, if I say one thing that disagrees with Ray, he just goes into a shell for the whole rest of the show. It just goes,
probably
why
the
not?
same face he makes when he's on top of Jen.
Probably.
That's a terrible face. Big Ray, we love you. Just don't be so gay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of your Impact Attack. Yes, I said your Impact Attack, and I don't have the Kenny Omega drop anymore. I don't know how to end the show.
You're supposed to. I thought you were supposed to get the Evanescence.
I don't know how to end the show anymore. I don't like.
You can't do that on YouTube though.
What do we? What do we
I'm
do?
from Earth.
Matt Riddle saying I'm from Earth. Do
We have nothing in common.
Randy Orton saying that we have nothing in common. Like what?
You could just cut it where he says we have nothing and then leave it at that because that's.
Do I end the show with a main roster drop?
Main roster.
I don't know anymore, people. I'm so lost.
It's all right. We didn't know how to start the show or to have a show in the middle, so I guess it doesn't matter if we have an ending either.
You know what? You know what we could use?
You could use a hamburger every now and again.
Thanks, Dr. Ted. Thanks, Dr. Ted. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Impact Attack. Go out, get a hamburger, doctor's orders. Y'all